Hello, YouTube. I was going to say hello again, YouTube, but this will be the first video, the inaugural Talking to the Future video for the Talking to the Future podcast or Talking to the Future Gaming. I will call this channel both things. And because I'm the only person who ever thought to call their channel Talking to the Future, I get a temporary copyright on the entire concept. So, last time, you didn't watch because no one has watched the first 3 videos. This will be video 4. I ground my way to the Pisco Demon fight and then kept wiping. So what we're going to do is we're just going to try the Pisco Demon fight one more time. And if I get lucky, maybe I can do it in one try and we don't have to do any grinding. But this might be another video that opens directly with a wipe, and I might just not be high enough level because the Pisco Demons all got to attack first, which is an indicator that their speed is just a lot higher than mine. So I might just not be quite ready yet. And what I should do is not what I did. Okay, it worked out. Oh. That worked out. Come on, kill it. Yeah, kill it. It won't, but... Dun, dun, dun. Diggity, diggity. I don't know how I'm gonna keep myself from a copyright claim if... this is the worst way to do this. But I'm gonna bank on keeping him alive. And then... Probably made the wrong choice. Oof. If that had cast sooner, it would have been the right choice. I had a feeling I knew what they were gonna do. Yes! Oh, no. No. Not that. That. Not good. But I should have enough to make it. Yes. Oh my god. I did it! Hell yeah! Alright. So if you don't know, that alright that I do, I actually can't even help it. I picked that up from Bob Greasy, of all people. And you're going, who the fuck is Bob Greasy? And the answer is Bob Greasy is he's the quarterback from the 1970s Dolphins. And you're like, why do you know how he talks? And the answer is that he was one of the color guys for the Dolphins radio team for years and years and years. He's recently stepped down from that because, you know, he was in his 20s. He was an athlete in the 1970s, so his brain and his body have started to fade, have started to fail him, as they say. But every time the Dolphins scored, that's what he would do. All right, just like that. All right. He was a quarterback. He doesn't get real up, even when good. I think it's actually even when real good things happen, he doesn't get real emotional. Here's the thing: I'm not going to be able to remember how to get out of here. I'm going to end up dying down here because I burnt up all of my heals, and I don't remember how to get out. So what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up running from a bunch of these fights. But I do know that I'm high enough level, not just because I beat it, but because these guys don't hit me for much damage anymore. That's really important in this game, at this stage. You're gonna get to see me do something. I'm still learning. Can I? Hey! That's my big dumb face! Now you see my big dumb face while I'm playing. And you get to just not see the enemies. Here we go. We can go. Or can I go? Why are you the way you are? Whoa. Here we go. What if I'm Eye of God? I don't know why that's the noise God makes, but that's the noise God makes now. Alright, this is how people stream live, is they put their big dumb faces or an icon of their big dumb, their big dumb icon. I'm gonna go, I really don't remember how to get out of here. I really don't remember how to get out of here. But it must be this way, because I've opened chest this direction. You also get to watch me smoke, because while I play video games, I like to smoke. Oh yeah, I might be good now, actually. I might have gotten to... look at what I found. I might have gotten... Uh-oh, that's no good. I told you that was going to be a problem. I can use my right hand to control my character, so that's good. I had a feeling that was going to be... Oh, that's annoying, though. I bet I can... These are going to kill me. These have a shitload of health, and yeah, they're very fast. They get to do that. Jeez. Attack for huge amounts of damage. Let's see. Because I'm playing right-handed, let's see if I can... There. Oh. Yeah, every time I go to use my left hand, it's going to cover the camera, and you're just not going to like that. You're going to bitch about it if you even want. Sorry. I'll adjust. I'm going to run out of... Yep. It's okay. Learning on the fly. I could also edit it so that this doesn't happen, but I hit the wrong button. I want menu. Okay. Try to keep my left hand off the screen. Alright, so this is talking to the future because when I have things on my mind, I will... Fuck. I told you that was gonna fucking happen. I will end up sharing my obsessive thoughts with you. But I did for the main channel is how we're going to end up talking about the Shaggy Phil Alitea channel. I ended up did today's, I talked about the blessings that I've gotten this week. The way my life is just doing it. I talked about it yesterday. I talked a little bit about forcing magic. And so what I've been thinking about, if I have an obsessive thought that I want to share with you, is that The Secret, if you're familiar with the book and the documentary series, or the cult is really what it is. But if you're familiar with The Secret, I've been thinking about how it's evil. And it has an effect. What does this do? Oh, I guess I should be hitting buttons more often. What does this do? I don't know. Anyway, it's evil, and it has an effect. There's a I remember what I was trying to do. There's just enough effect, you could say, that there is a magic to it. That there's a I don't even know what word I want to say. There's enough of an effect that there's an effect, right? But that's kind of why I haven't talked about it, is because, frankly, I don't know who you are yet, because I'm up to 36. I'm back to 36. I basically lost. I spent 4 months to get something like 11 follows, and then they all left, and they've all either come back or been replaced with other follows, and those 36 haven't jumped to the gaming channel, and the people that I had spent all those well, really it was about a year and a half, but all that time trying to get to tune into what I'm doing, they haven't followed. So no butthurt. Forgiveness. Easy to ignore and easy to walk away from, but nobody's here yet. So this is talking to the future in the purest form. Anything I say is going to be said to, for a long time probably, is going to be said to 0 followers. And it gives me an opportunity to go back to the beginning of the last, let's just call it 2 years, and see what I learned, and then do what I've been talking about on the main channel, and fix my mistakes. And so the secret, if you don't know what the secret is, it's probably better to start at the beginning. Now that I've done that dungeon, this will go back to being half-hour episodes. And maybe I can get ahead of myself and I can name them, and I can, well, what I'll probably have to do is I'll just upload them and have them tease you that they're there. You'll know when the release date is, and you can just tune in for yourself instead of waiting for my caprice, which means if I can get ahead of myself, I can actually put a few days between them, or I can even just do once a week, and then I can borrow from Neebs if need be, and I can give myself a week and I can play each of the games that I have and just find what games and what series make me an interesting watch in that manner. I'm a very low-key, go-with-the-flow kind of person. So, you wouldn't believe that, maybe, if you'd seen how annoyed I've gotten the last month, 2 months, maybe even 3 months, with the people who wanted to be in my life as on a personal level. But crisis will do that, right? So they say a friend in need is a friend indeed, right? And what that means is if they need your goodwill, they'll do the things necessary to keep it. It's really kind of a backhanded thing to say about a human being. But what does a friend in need look like relative to me? I think is kind of what I'm thinking about. And so the secret. Let's try to talk about only one thing at a time instead of trying to approach every problem from every angle. Okay, now with the crown, where I need to go is to the, it's not here, but they'll remind me where it is. Because this guy's asleep, he needs the sleeping potion, and you get the sleeping potion from I have to go to the Elf King. Who remembers where the Elf King is? Is it me? Maybe. So the secret is called the secret because the idea is that it's a brain hack. Okay. I think I remember where it is. The secret, the brain hack that is the secret, is to effectively pray. I should have turned off auto battle because I'm going to flee from the next one too. Is to effectively be praying at all times. But the idea is to practice developing obsessive thoughts about your wants. And so what that means is to obsessively think about yourself and what you lack, you understand? And the idea is to pick one thing. So if there's a positive efficacy, if there's a good reason to practice, like if there's any good in the secret, the good is that you practice focus and you practice goal-oriented behavior. If there's a negative, it's that you're just mind fucking yourself. You're just leaning into your cognitive biases, specifically your recency bias, and you're forging a path. You are carving a path. And so there is a forward, I can't play with that big. There is a forward progress that you can sense. You get a feel for. And it's kind of like I've been talking about with my blessings in my life. And you might ask, well, how is everything you're saying? I wonder if it's better on this side, because don't really use this side of the screen. How is the secret, how is obsessing any different than gratitude? And the answer is that the secret teaches you to give yourself credit. Oh, I see. That's going to be annoying when I open my items. My face being that big is just going to be problematic. Sorry, guys. It teaches you to give yourself credit. It teaches you not to do as I'm demonstrating for you and be thankful. It teaches you to take everything as a positive, every single thing as a positive affirmation that you are the best and that you are doing good things, because you're leaning into your biases, and your biases are all designed to make you feel like you're smart, right? That's what cognitive bias is. That's what Dunning-Kruger is it's an overestimation of your own abilities and your own education. Not just your own education, but your own knowledge, your own capability. Thank you for not beginning with auto attack. My fingers are so big that this is just small enough that actually accurately touching the screen isn't easy. Oh, did he just slow me? You fuck. I don't like that, not being able to see it. What a fucker. And so leaning into your cognitive biases, it feels like, and it sounds like, if you're just listening to me talk and you're not really being self-critical and trying to understand how what I'm saying is different than what other people are saying, or different from what you are doing, you might think, well, why is the secret any different than oracle reading? And you talk a lot on the main channel about reading oracle and keeping your eyes open and believing in yourself, right? You talk, Vincent, about believing in yourself, and that you believe in yourself more than other people do, and that even going through and watching your old work and tagging your old work with timestamps is a sort of form of self-belief. How is that? How is the secret different than committing to yourself, like you always advocate, Vincent? How is that different? And the answer is not. It's subtle. It's not easy to explain, because it does very much seem like leaning into your cognitive biases. You might even say, well, you, Vincent, are leaning into your cognitive biases. Shaggy, you are leaning into your cognitive biases by I have to get rid of that blind or we're never going to win this fight. By reading all of these oracles as positive to you. You're doing exactly what you're saying other people do out of an act of evil. And maybe. But the Dunning-Kruger or these recency biases or the secret, it's about a particular kind of selfishness, and when you're selfish in the way that this magic works, what it's that lack of humility that proves the evil, that you're giving yourself credit and you're taking credit, so you're assuming credit, and credit is the focus here, right? So if you watch, wow, that was a lot of damage. if you watch my other work, what I'm not doing is giving myself credit. I'm saying things like, I asked and I received, but I didn't do the giving. Did I do the right one? No, I didn't. I'm not the one doing the giving. The being or the person doing the giving is God, is the universe. If you don't want to, oh, I just lost this fight. Yeah, I'm gonna have to grind up, and I'm gonna have to get some eye drops because that's too much. Hit the wrong button. Credit matters. You understand that the credit is almost the money, the worth, the value. And so if what you're saying is, what I'm saying is that I need to be talking about the difference in worth and value, and what I need to stop doing is talking specifically about the secret. Because it sounds like I don't know what I mean. It really does sound like I'm vacillating and I just don't know how to articulate it. And maybe the issue is that I really don't know how to articulate it, because there's just so much wrapped up in the behavior that you have to go through in order to do the secret long term. So like the example that always pops in my head is in the documentary, this guy goes, man, all I ever wanted to be, I just wanted to write a book. And so I thought about it every day, and then the book got finished and then somebody bought it. And it's like, that's commitment. Like at the basic level, that's commitment. And so the secret gets this sort of, the secret cult gets this sort of pass, because you can easily look at it and go, oh, well, you're just teaching people to fully commit to their lives, to their existences, to what they want. There's a sort of, I mean, everybody likes the self-help guru who already tells you you're good enough. You already have all the skills necessary to be who you want to be. All you have to do is go out into the world and grab it, right? That. We all like that guy. I hate that guy, but you all like that guy because that guy makes you feel empowered, right? It's like I think about women, right? Women will do appalling and insane things, and they'll say, well, I'm doing it to empower other women to do things. To do that thing? No, to do things they want to do. And so there's this follow your dreams ethos that's all over the modern world. And I just have to wonder, what your dreams are and whether they're valid, whether you should even have that dream. And that's the thing with the secret, is the secret doesn't encourage you. And I know I said I was going to stop, and I know I'm all over the place. This is why it's talking to the future, and I'm just playing Final Fantasy, and this is what I would be thinking about. I'd be either arguing with myself or listening to right now I'd be listening to the Bible, the Zondervan audio productions on Amazon or on Audible, which it turns out I can't steal the onboard audio from Audible, so that's pretty cool. That Audible just won't let me record the onboard audio, so I can't comment on Great Courses lectures. That's interesting. Just talkative today, and that's what I get for not telling him I was recording. Damn. I'm distractible. Yeah, I was saying this is, oh my god. I was saying this is for the future because there's a certain amount of, not that I don't know what I'm talking about, but that all of this stuff is going to require circling back around. And so, in my head, idealistically, the way this would work, the way this stacks up, is that the gaming, talking to myself, or talking to the future pod, the gaming gives me an opportunity to say things that are just kind of free floating around in my head in a free floating kind of way, and hopefully the practice will add up to better shorts, because what it looks like is my shorts are popping off. 400 or 500 views on some of them. I can consistently get a few hundred views on at least one short a day. And so it does seem like what you're interested in is my Bible studies. It does seem like, and I do believe, that there is a groundswell of desire for religion in the world. Not just the world itself, but it does seem like all of these people who identify as spiritual but not religious prefer to be religious. They would rather they were religious, but they can't trust the major religions they have access to. They can't trust any of them because the people at the tops of those religions keep being evil. And so it's hard to want to participate in Christianity when it seems like the Bible is a mind fuck. And it's hard to participate in Judaism because you have to marry. And it's hard to participate in Islam because it's evil and mentally retarded to do that. And it's difficult to participate in Hinduism without being born to it. And Buddhism is assisted self-end. It's an encouragement to end yourself. And nobody who's spiritual but not religious is trying to work their way toward that, the self-end. None of them wants it. They all love themselves way too much. That's why all of the people who are spiritual but not religious keep getting themselves trapped, quite literally, in evil cult. So feminism, neo-paganism, and then just the Christian cults in general, whether it be Mormonism or Scientology or whatever, what have you. They just can't keep themselves away. I'm actually going to do something insane here. This guy doesn't have a lot of health, but what he does have is a lot of fucking crowd control. And so now I'm thinking about why I don't timestamp my work very often. Did I get that? I don't know if I got that off or not. And I don't know. I don't think I got Null Blaze off. I think that one was asleep. This is the problem with having two white mages, is I don't really know the order in which I've used them. That's only going to do like 10, right? Oh, a lot more than I thought. Sort of the problem with doing this in the way that I want, and sort of the difficulty of doing what you want, which is timestamping all these, is I have to watch them back. Now I don't mind that. Not really at all. Oh wait, no. Oh, I had Blindna. Shoot. I don't mind watching them back, but it does cost me battery, it does cost me time, and so every episode that I watch also gives me, it gives me analytics stats that I shouldn't have. It gives me watch hours and views that I shouldn't get. So every time I chop out a remix, it gives me a view on my channel, even though it's me doing the remix, even though it's from this channel. I was using my personal channel, which I call just Shags. I was using that for a while to cut out clips from my work, and it gives me inflated stats. And so I'm not a stat patter, and I'm not trying to cheat, and there is a certain amount of, it feels like cheating to me, and it's important to me not to feel like I'm cheating or manipulating anything. The numbers, oh, he's gonna die this turn. die before I can bring Bro back. And that's going to annoy me because then I'm going to have lopsided XP. Motherfucker! I just have to deal with having... Unless it's like 1,000. If he's going to give me a boss's amount of XP, that didn't happen. Sorry, yeah, fuck that. I'm not having a guy who's 2,000 experience behind everybody. I just don't like playing like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, whoops, and go back to the front. And just do that fight over again. Because no, I just don't like that. That's a me thing and you get to deal with it. So we're gonna walk back to town because we're about to level anyway. So we'll get a big fight like this, some giants or something that gives lots of experience, and we can buy some more spells or something. So I know I'm not really talking about anything, and what I'm saying is that I kind of just want to let my mind wander while I do these. And the idea is that if I say something that you really want parsed out, we can either work on it together. I'm not a prepared material person. When I prepare material, people get upset. There was a certain amount of... I went right before I was homeless, the last week before my eviction case, eviction hearing. I got as productive as I can be. I wrote a bunch of prepared material, made a bunch of prepared material, and people got really upset with how prolific I am. When I sit down, you tell me to prepare in an hour. All right, prepare an hour. Okay, so I sat down and wrote, and the prepared material that I had ended up being something almost 100,000 words. It ended up being almost a book in its own right. And there's a jealousy that happens when somebody tells you, well, I'm not really good at prepared material. I'm more of a free kind of thinking person and free associating person, and things that click into place, and things that don't just kind of float out there in the ether for someone to ask me about, and then for me to try to bring down to a more earthly level. The point is, I can be productive, and when it comes to writing, I sat down in one setting and wrote a 50,000 word piece that I actually left unfinished because it was unfinished at 50,000 words, and everyone that I asked to read it was overwhelmed just by the word count. They were overwhelmed just by the amount of the time investment that it would require to read. And it's like, okay, but I wrote it. I put the time investment in to put the words down. Why is it so much to ask that you, the people who have paid for the privilege to edit and proofread my writing, are overwhelmed by the work, by what I've created? And it's not that they're overwhelmed by it, it's that they're envious, just deeply envious of my ability to go and make, to say, okay, well, I'm gonna do this, and then do it, and then it be basically in one pass. It's a finished product. That's the other thing, is when I write, I'm a good writer, a naturally good writer, and I don't really love him. Jordan Peterson anymore just annoys the shit out of me. But he has a good idiom. He said something that I agree with. He said that writing is practice for speaking. That if you write well, you can speak well. And the reason is that writing is organized thinking. This is why so much ancient writing has titles like Meditations or Confessions, or why most ancient writing was, if it wasn't grand folk narratives or grand historical narratives, if it was memoirs and self-help novels, not novels, self-help work. And then the novel became a thing, and then like travelogues became a thing in the ancient world, and stories, written stories, especially fictions, became a thing. But they became a thing because of people being jealous of the other stuff, of the academic or the intellectual nature of memoirs and religious scripture. And I don't know, I don't think I have a negative criticism for these people who let me down. They did let me down. I don't have a negative criticism. I think the reason I'm talking about and thinking about them right now specifically is because they're not there. They're not around. They got jealous. They got insecure. They felt like I was doing something that they couldn't do, and it made them lesser. And it's like, well, what does The Secret tell you? The Secret tells you to commit and to think about only the thing you want. To obsess, right? And so I began with, there's an efficacy. There's enough efficacy there that you can say that there's something happening. That's what I'm trying to say, that there's enough smoke there that there's fire. Something's happening. And reducing it to just cognitive bias is unsatisfactory, I think, is what's happening. It just leaves people going, well, okay, I'm fine with my cognitive biases. I don't need to be a philosopher. I don't need to be right. I certainly don't need to be Philaletheia. But what I want to do is be able to tell you that you're right. That's what I want, right? So how do I do that? How do I get what I want? By the rules of The Secret, right? So if I just think about it at all times, and I create my cognitive bias around telling you, okay, well, you're right, do what you're doing, the way you're going about life is a good way to go about it. It's a way that I can endorse. Let's say I endorse the way you live. Not only do I endorse the way you live, but I can tell other people to live the way you live. Not only can I say that the way you live is not harmful to you and actually works for you, but more, that other people should follow in your footsteps. And so why can't I say that about The Secret? And it is that selfishness. It is the giving yourself credit part, but it's also what are your dreams? What do you want? What do you actually want? Do you actually want to write a novel? Do you have a story in your heart that you need to tell? Or is it just something you've always wanted to do? You've always thought would be neat because, well, other people do it. Why can't I? And if it's that other thing, The Secret will get you there. Secret will get you there. You'll write the book. You can get on Twitter and you can just go to the writing community, get on Twitter, go to the writing community, hashtag search it. I don't really understand Twitter that well, but you can find it. You can get access to the writing community. Every time I make a new what's it called? Profile on Twitter, it always starts me out in the writing community. No matter what I say my interests are, it always gives me access to bored and lazy writers. And is that what you want to be? Do you want to be just one of them? You want to be just another person complaining about and speaking about writing and creating a novel or creating a book? You want to be just another person talking about it in the same context, the same exact words and terms and feelings as a 9 to 5? You want to be one of those people? You want to be a ghostwriter? Or do you want to just have your name on the cover of a book? Because if what you want is to have your name on the cover of a book, if what you want is these things that I'm saying, you want to just do writing because you think writing is a stay-at-home job that that has a non-zero chance of also making you famous, you're wasting everyone's time. No one's going to read your work. No one's going to love your work. No one's going to think your work is awesome. No one's going to think your world is life-changing, because your work is about giving yourself credit for having done the work. I think that's what upsets me. I think that's what I'm trying to circle my way around to, is that just having done the work isn't good enough to get paid for it. I think that's what I'm trying to prove ultimately with these YouTube channels and with my time on Twitter, is that if having done the work were worth being paid for, my audiences that keep bailing on me when I hold out my hand and say, all right, I did the work that you said you wanted, pay me, wouldn't go, no, I don't want to do that. They would go, oh, you gave me what I wanted. Here's your money, and here's all of it, and here's more of it into perpetuity, and here's a bigger audience. That's how that works. And so The Secret won't get you that. The Secret will put you in position to be, here's the problem. The Secret is going to put you in a position to be manipulated by someone smarter than you, and someone evil. And do you really want that? Is that really what you want? Is your life goal to be manipulated by an evil megalomaniac? Because I just don't believe it is. And if I don't believe that your goal is to be manipulated by an evil megalomaniac, what that means is that my life has to be about keeping you from making that mistake, even if it means talking into the future about something that the future can't understand why I'm talking about it. And so it means I have to entice you with old video games that I have access to. Or I have to entice you with the knowledge that I'm homeless, and so this is what I've got. This is how I can contribute, and this is how I can fight the fights that need fought. And you're going, well, why is feminism a fight that needs fought? And the answer is because not only does it harm men, it harms women. You know, it's talking about empowering people, doing things for the sole reason to empower people, and the example that jumps immediately to my head was, there was a porn girl in 2009, circa 2009. There was a girl who got in porn who was doxxed as a student in Florida, maybe Florida State, maybe Miami U. Whatever. The point is, she was shooting porn to pay for her school, and she made a big deal about it in her videos, that was how she was paying for school. And she was doing professional porn. She wasn't doing amateur porn out of her bedroom. She was doing professional porn with like Bang Bros. I think she was actually a Bang Bros feature girl for a while. The point isn't to talk about porn and to talk about my interest in all of society's markets and all of the artistic expressions of human beings. And there's an increasing argument to be made. Porn made the argument in the early internet days, 2000, around this time, 2008, 2009. I forgot where I was talking about, but they were making the argument that porn is art, and that because the economy for porn is actually greater, they see many more dollars than especially in the home, right, and DVD sales. Porn generates probably many times, not just much more, but probably, oh, I forgot about him, probably many times more dollars in revenue than Hollywood does. You got to understand that porn is one of the biggest money makers in the world, and there's a reason for that. And it's not just that sex sells, it's that porn is an art form. Porn is art. And so circa 2008, 2009, women were complaining that porn had gone from inclusive of the female audience in the 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s. Feature porn, that was stories. And if you watch that porn, it's actually boring from the perspective of the male gaze, because the stories are good. They're badly acted, but the stories are interesting, actually. And they were interesting, actually on purpose, because they were catering to a female audience. And more importantly, the women who were acting, who were coming up with these features and participating in these features, the women specifically were actresses. They thought of themselves as artists first, and so they thought of themselves as hooas second. They thought of themselves as prostitutes second. They very much had the minds and the mentalities that we're making art. And you can actually tell the difference when you watch porn and the way the camera is used, whether the person behind the camera is an artist or is a pervert. So that's why Mason, that's their only name, is a director, is a female, and she actually goes by 2 or 3 names. She worked for several studios, and it's complicated. But she began, if I remember her myth correctly, she began as a journalist, and a feminist journalist who was anti-porn. And then she was invited onto a porn set and saw what it was like and thought, this is a great way for me to actually do art that's actually interesting and human and intimate and interesting to the sort of, she would have been early 2000s, late 90s, college-educated feminist. And so I'm telling you that feminism has been, only very recently has feminism turned on porn, but feminism has always supported porn. Feminism supported porn in an anti-Christian movement until the time that I'm talking. And so I'm talking about women doing silly things to empower other women, especially harmful things to women broadly. And their argument is that they want to empower women, not necessarily to do what they're doing, but to do their thing. And you hear me say that. I want to empower you. I don't want to empower you, and I don't want to inspire you. I want to encourage you, and I want to demonstrate to you through representation that you can be you and I can be me. That's why I say you can be a little bit more like me. You don't need to actually be like me. And so anyway, this girl, 18, 19, 20, whatever, however old she was, she's a university student, probably a freshman or a sophomore. She gets doxxed. And the school makes a whole big deal out of it. You got to remember, this is 2008 or 2009. This is not 2018, 2019, 2020. You got to understand, the school made a huge deal about it, tried to kick her out. And so the feminist media actually jumped to this girl's back. She, that swimmer, Riley, whatever? The feminist media, CNN had this girl all over it, this porn girl. And she's making the argument that, why did I do that? I might have just fucked this battle right on turn 1. She's making the argument that she's doing porn as a feminist intentionally to empower other women. She wants to empower women in their bodies and their sexualities. And if you remember being in the 90s, you'll remember Jenna Jameson wrote that book. I think it was Jenna Jameson wrote that book, Fuck Like a Porn Star. And this is where the cultural love, is it even fair to call it a cultural love affair? But this is where the cultural love affair, around that time, 2009, 2010, with, what was that book? 50 Shades of Grey came from, is you're allowed to fuck like a porn star, and you're encouraged to find a man who's going to mistreat you, because all men are going to mistreat you, but at least rich men can make it worth your time. That sucks. At least a rich man can pay you for it. And so anyway, that girl's career, that girl had no career, right? There was no second act. There wasn't even the Asa Akira wrote a book encouraging ordinary women to do butt stuff. There wasn't even that. Because this girl's too young. You understand? No matter how much art she was or was not doing, she was too young to know what the hell she was even talking about, what she was saying. A 20-year-old girl can't empower all women. It's just not possible. And and what kind of adult woman is looking to a 20-year-old to feel empowered? I don't understand. I never understood that element of this thing. But that's really all I have to say about that. I'm about to beat this boss. I think I'm actually going to get him this time. I don't know if I've got null shock. Null blaze. Some of them have null shock. No. Yeah, some of them have null shock. It's just Luke. I wonder if this will work. I don't think it will. You know, they say to thine own self be true. That's Shakespeare, I believe. Yes! Did it. Nice. They say to thine own self be true. But how do you know what your self is? How do you know whether you're lying to yourself? How do you know whether you're staying true to yourself or not? How do you? Not how do I? I know. You can see how I know, right? That's one of the things that if you were to be a little bit more like me without being me, you would implement into your life, is you would say, okay, well, this is how he goes about it. But I want you to answer that question. I want you to answer it in the comments, and I want you to really think about whether hyper focus on one thing makes that one thing happen for you. Because I'll tell you, it was if you know anything about the maxims of dating, for instance, one of the things they tell young people, especially young women, is like, if you want a man and you want a specific kind of man, what you need to do is stop thinking about it. Stop looking for it everywhere. It will find you. And that's a eyes and hands open kind of thinking. Keep your eyes open, keep your hands up and open, right? Not up and balled up in fists, and the blessings that you want will fall into them. That's not the secret. That's a Christian approach, is really what it is. I listened to Job last night, and that's even what God is telling Job, is like, man, I set the wheels of the universe in order, in motion so long ago, that anything that has led to you being where you are right now wasn't caprice on my part. Even if Satan took all of this stuff from you, and even if Satan is one of my aspects from within my presence, it wasn't caprice. And if it was a test, you're failing, Job. You're failing by arguing with me and for not appreciating the test in its own right, that you have the opportunity to be tested. You know, I think of the EODs, EOG. EOD is end of day for a business. EOG is end of grade. I think about the EOG tests. You can think of SATs or ACTs or whatever standardized test you've had to take in your life that's just long and feels like it just will not end. And it's like, there's no amount of being annoyed by how long the test is taking that's going to make the test end any faster. There's no amount of being annoyed with God for testing you that's going to make God end the test, you see. And what God is testing us with at all times. I'll go ahead and turn in the I, just because I think I'm still on a roll. What God is testing us with is our ability to endure. Not just endure, but to be grateful for the opportunity to be tested in our endurance. It's very easy to just give up. It's easier to give up than it is to persist. And this is why the secret has an effect, and this is why people swear by it, is because without the secret, without the feeling like you're doing something secret and there is a secret and there's a magic that's going to happen while you're not thinking about it, right? It allows you to let go, and it allows you to focus on other things. And more importantly, it allows you to see the connections between those other things that you really do need to be spending time focusing on and the thing you want, right? Which is a problem for I wouldn't even say many people. I would say most people aren't able to see how two skill sets can interlink. And that goes back to, I think I was actually talking about it in my Final Fantasy Let's Play. That goes back to cross-education, cross-training. And what I was telling you is that most people feel like cross-training at work is unpaid education. It's a skill set that you are expected to have, and it's work that you will be expected to do because you know how to do it without the raise that comes from knowing how to do both jobs. You shouldn't just be paid for the higher paid job. You should be paid for the higher paid job and a prorated wage for the lower paying job as well. Which means that, so let's say that you know how to do a job that's $12 an hour and you know how to do a job that gets paid $15 an hour. Well, you were taught how to do the $15 an hour job at the $12 an hour rate. You should get $15 an hour plus $6 an hour, if not 15 plus 12. If you're expected to do both jobs, you should get paid for both jobs, right? That's kind of what you think. That's kind of your metric, right? But that's not how it works. You get paid for the title that you have. And so that goes back to something else I was talking in these Let's Plays, these Final Fantasies, is entitlements and not understanding entitlement. Well, okay, the title manager, like think about Arrested Development, Mr. Manager. Well, the title manager doesn't come with anything, barely a bigger paycheck. What it comes with is the title, is the expectation of a particular response to your behavior. This is why if you watch my, nope, you can't watch it because it was an unrecorded space on Twitter. I was kind of shit-talking. I said my first impression of one of the managers at that McDonald's that I was at, and it turns out she was actually the best manager at that McDonald's, may even have been the general manager, which is part of why I decided not to, figuratively speaking, burn that McDonald's down to corporate. Was her, just in case she was the general manager, because she was too young and she was overmatched by the job in general. But what I said about her is that she's too young for this job, and so what she walks around with the ambiance of somebody who knows that the job comes with a title, and that title comes with a particular kind of respect. And so what I asked is, who is she looking for the respect from? Is she looking for it from her parents? Like, because you're not going to get it anymore at McDonald's, and they're not going to teach you how to do things that will allow you to elevate socially. They're not going to teach you skills that allow you to get a higher paying job, because it would be stupid. It would be stupid on their part. They lose you. They have to retrain somebody to do what you were doing, and if you're actually good enough at your job that they want to keep you, what they're absolutely not going to do is throw you the money necessary to keep you. What they're going to do is they're going to throw you titles, and they're going to throw you feel-good things, which means they're going to throw you recognition. And we're almost done. I'll go back to town, turn in the Jolt Tonic, and then we can go say hello to the dwarves, I believe, is the next step. And so what I'm not saying is don't work for McDonald's. What I'm saying is don't take your personality from your job. Don't take your personality from your title, and maybe stop seeking entitlements in general. Maybe because we are in the United States, and that entitlement doesn't actually come with anything. That title, manager, it doesn't come with anything. Not like Duke did. Like if you had the title Duke, right? If you're a Duke in England, there are very specific privileges and rights that come with that. Like you get to own land. I don't know what they are, but you get to own land in a specific kind of way. You get to inherit land to your what are those called? Your descendants in a particular kind of way. It's about the particulars of the titles, and I don't know them, but like the House of Lords is very different from the American Senate. You can only be in the House of Lords if you have a title, a lordly title, right? And so maybe stop that. Like if you want a secret to living well and people liking you, it's maybe stop thinking that you're entitled to anything. Your title, what is your title? Like I was talking in my other work today about the people at Christ's Kitchen where I get my food for free, and how people will even turn up their nose at free food. They'll even turn their nose up and say, oh, well, I could have done better. Well, if you could have done better, why aren't you in the kitchen? That sort of thing. The secret is a sort of, and this isn't supposed to be a takedown entirely of the secret. I've just been thinking about how what I'm doing isn't that. If I had, the secret leads you to steal. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's like another error in thinking where people will make the mistake of saying, well, if I just had this, if I just had blank, then I could be happy. And then if you pay attention to what they do, they don't get it. They don't go out and get it. They don't take the steps necessary to make sure that they have blank. They use that as a crutch. And so you're saying, but the secret is saying to not use it as a crutch. The secret is saying, well, if I had this, and then taking the steps necessary to get it. And I'm telling you that thinking in its own right, the well, if I just thinking, is why your life is in a standstill. And the secret makes it seem like it's okay to also be at a standstill. Because if you do well, if I just stop thinking about it, it'll come to me, thinking of the secret. But you haven't done any of the necessary steps to get the thing you need, to actually get the thing you need. You won't have the habituated go get 'em attitude to do the thing once you get the thing you need. Right? You see what I'm saying? If I hadn't gone through the steps necessary to get myself right so that I'm not screaming and yelling, if I hadn't gone through the steps of making it habitual that I don't need to ask for money when I do these, for instance, or I don't need to tell you everything that you're getting wrong in your life all at once and be angry about it and moralize and these sorts of things. I figured out, well, if I just stop doing that, then I won't be thinking about it. And so then I can talk about other things because I won't be thinking about it, and I won't have to remind myself, well, don't talk about that because they don't like to hear it. I won't be thinking about it, so it won't even enter my mind to talk about. You understand? I hope. And so anyway, on that note, we got about 40 minutes on this video. Actually, how much do we have on this? Oh, an hour and 5 minutes is not how long I wanted to record this. That means I'm gonna have to get out of here soon. That means I have to get out of here now. All right, well, shoot. Wait, no, it doesn't. I can't do time. Fuck did I come in here? 1:30 is when I came in here. Oh man, I got my schedule all messed up by doing things different. So I've got an hour. Okay, that's cool. Sorry, you didn't need to see this part, but I'm not editing it out. Thank you for being here. This has been Shaggy Philolitea presents Final Fantasy I under the auspices of Talking to the Future. I've been talking to the future about the secret and about the things I'm thinking, and I've been arguing with myself about whether I'm falling back into old ruts of feeling entitled or like certain things should come my way because I've been a good person. And hopefully my goal has been to leave breadcrumbs for you to ask the same questions, and then a representative artistic demonstration of what that looks like. And I think I've been thinking about this in the context of porn, and that this is pornographic. You are a passive participant. And if I do this right, you will get off. Spiritually, not religiously. Maybe both. I don't actually know what I'm talking about anymore, and I don't know that I ever did. So thank you for being here. Please like, comment, subscribe. Help me organize my thoughts. Let's have conversations so that we can have meta conversations back and forth, and these videos can be a running sort of I need to tune in and see what he's going to say sort of thing, because he might talk about me. This might even become like a commenting on comments type thing where I just play game and comment on the comments that I've gotten all week and just kind of let my mind free float through the conversations that I've had. That would be ideal. But those tend to go into my homelessness blogs right now, because the people that I tend to interact with tend to be real humans. They tend to be humans that I've engaged with in the auspices, or under the context, I should say under the auspices or in the context of being homeless, and their own struggles with hunger and poverty, and maybe even homelessness in their own right. A lot of the people in there are embarrassed to admit that they're homeless, even if they've been homeless a long time. We have a very real pride problem. Americans have a very real pride problem. And as I was standing in line for, I went and wanted to see what the distribution day looks like at that church I've been telling you about. And they were giving out cleaning supplies. And what I got to thinking about, what I noticed, is there were a lot of people in that line with huge, fat bodies, expensive branded clothes, beautiful, clean, styled hair, who hadn't budgeted toilet brushes, toilet paper, Comet for their stove and their toilet, antibacterial soap to clean out their showers, body wash, basics. And what I got to thinking is, if you have the money to get your hair and your nails did, you have the money to make sure that your children can take a dump and be clean. If you have the money to have branded clothing, no matter where you got it from, you have the money necessary to have Dawn dish soap. You understand? If you think that you're eating out to avoid having to clean your house, you're making a terrible choice. And so there's a lot of poverty is just horrible choices. Well, if I chase this, I'll get what I want and everything will fix itself. And you can see a lot of people just taking advantage. They can't just let people go in there and get what they need, because people are going to lie. They have to take your name, your address. They want proof of income, and they want to see how much you're spending on your bills before they'll give you anything. Because motherfuckers will lie. Motherfuckers will get status symbols, things like phones and Netflix, TVs. I was listening to a woman help a guy budget who had 3 different DoorDash accounts. Premium. 3. Why? Why do you have 3 different emails that you're using to get food under? 3 different phone numbers you're getting food under. This guy was like $1,500 over his budget, and it was all bullshit. None of it. He didn't need any of it. He had multiple Hulu accounts, multiple Netflix accounts. You don't need any of it. The reason you're in poverty is because you're chasing things you just don't need. Why do you need a new hat from Lids? Why do you need a new hat? Why do you need a new jacket? Why do you need to go shopping? Why do you need these things? Why do you think you need these things? It's not even about the simplicity that I'm talking about. It's, what does accumulating this shit when you can't even wipe your own ass do for you? These are questions you need to ask yourself. I'm not value judging you. These are questions you need to be asking. There are too many advertisements for products that help you manage your life for you to be so bad at managing your life. So what's going wrong? Do you know? Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Get me 50 followers on this channel and we can go live and we can just do what amount to therapy sessions. I have no problem doing that. I'm effectively trained at it. I've read more. I guarantee I've read more on the subject of how to be a good therapist and how to do it properly than your actual therapist. You want to talk about BetterHelp? Fuck. I'll do it for free. And I'm BetterHelp. And I'll always be here. Once I get the Discord going, or you sign up to the Patreon, you effectively have my phone number. You'll be able to text me 24/7 about anything, just like Madge is doing. Madge is a subscriber on my Patreon. You have to understand, Madge was the first and the most ferocious subscriber on my Patreon, and he's become my best friend. So that there's opportunity for that for you, but it does require what he does: constant communication, reading my work, and inviting me to be a part of his work. So yeah, this is an open invitation for you to be a part of my work, and it's me outright telling you that I'm bored of the content creators that I engage with that aren't Neebs Gaming, and I only tune into them maybe 3 days a week. Let's make something. Let's make something real. Thank you for watching my dumb face. I guess I could have made it bigger for this end part here. I'll do my goodbye like this. Thank you for being here. I know this is not how I wanted it to go, but we accomplished a lot in Final Fantasy 1. I got to show off that I actually do know a lot about this game, and I know a lot about a lot. There are a lot of people who say, well, I know a little bit about a lot. I know a lot about a lot, and I just want to share it with you. So thanks for being here. This is going to be regular. I'll probably go every other day or 3 days a week or something. We'll see how it floats out or how it shakes out, but I don't want to make this my whole thing. My whole life. Well, we'll see. I got a lot of time on my hands now that I have good blankets. All I need now is spending money, cash, so I can wake up earlier in the day and spend more of the day near an electric outlet and Wi-Fi. And that might sound to you like, well, get a house. And okay, get me $1,500 a month and we'll talk. That seems fair to me. It doesn't, like, $1,500 a month is 15 people paying me $100 a month. 15 people is 100 people paying me $1.50 a month. Or 100 people paying me $15 a month. $1,500 is 1,000 people paying me $1.50 a month. This is conceivable. This is doable. It's not even about the numbers. It's not even about the $1,500 a month. It's about what you want. Okay, well, what do you want? Let me help you make what you want a reality. And if what you want is for me to X, Y, or Z, let me show you how to make me do X, Y, or Z. Let me show you how to get other people to do X, Y, Z. It's not hard, and it doesn't require manipulation. It requires what I keep teaching you about on the main channel. It requires conditionalism, it requires commitment, and it requires reciprocation. You set up your conditions. You give them the opportunity to be informed to what they're consenting to. You commit to what you've agreed to doing. Yeah, my fingernails all fucked up. I can tell you that story as a child. I can tell you that story if you really want to hear it later. You commit to what you set up your conditions. You allow them to be informed in what they're consenting to do with you. You commit to what you've agreed to do as your condition to whatever. And then you reciprocate. As they commit, as they do what they say, you do more for the original agreed price. Why? I just told you that cross-training, it seems evident that you should be paid more. And the answer is because it's the right thing to do. That's the only reason. You're going to hate that. Most people are going to, since the 90s, we just don't want to hear that you do things because it's the right thing to do. We think, oh, well, we have to do every other thing besides that because we want to prove that there's not only one right answer. Well, there's one right answer. There's only one right answer. Be good to one another. It's that simple. All right? So just keep your hands up, your palms open, eyes open, your head on a swivel, pay attention, do better today than you did yesterday, and it stacks up over time. My life is rapidly becoming a success story. Everybody who has unfollowed me said, what your channel needs to be is it needs to be a proof of concept for the way that you say that you live. You want to inspire people with your goodness and with the successes of your life. Okay, well, my life is becoming a success, a major success. All of my prayers are being rapidly answered, and more closer in time to when I ask, which means that God is listening. I have strangers come up to me and say, God clearly loves you more than he loves us. Look at how easy this smile is. How many of you smile like I do? How many of you just bebop your way down the road listening to music, smiling? How many of you smile at strangers? How many of you get strangers that just want to talk to you? You could. It's not because I'm attractive. I'm not really that good looking, guys. If you think I've got riz, right? If you think I've got charisma, it's because I do. It's just the charisma. It's the joie de vivre, my friends. I've got dirty teeth. They're chipped and busted. This one's all blackened. Look, I am not a good-looking dude. I'm not husband material. People aren't looking at me like, that guy is so successful, I need to give him sex in the upper and in an effort to have his babies so that he can either give me child support or at least I've got one of his babies. None of that's happening for me, and I don't want it to happen for me. If you want it to happen for me, there are ways you can go about it without being evil. And I think you're concerned about being evil. I think that this election proves that. I need to go. Sorry, I'm Midwestern. Goodbyes are hard for me. I do believe you're concerned about you being evil. And I think I can help. I know I can help. You're just not going to like the restrictions. You're not going to be like being told no. But that's okay. Because children learn quickly. And you can too. You don't even have to put yourself in the mind of a child like I do. You don't have to recreate your childhood so you can mature out of it, out of those bad habits like I have. But if you do, I can help. That's it. That's all I really want to say. All of these are about me confessing that I just want to help. And yeah, there's a lot of money in helping, but I just don't care about the money. I don't need it anymore. Haven't for 3 weeks. And that feels good. That's a burden off my back. And my favorite part is that now my backpack's not. Alright. Love you, kids.